Batman is one of the most famous fictional characters of all time. From comics to toys to the silver screen, he has dominated popular culture for almost 80 years. And now, we are at the precipice of a new generation of the Caped Crusader. For the first time ever, we will see Batman interact with the entire DC universe in the DCU. Beyond just a Gotham-contained story, this Batman will likely take on otherworldly foes and team up with otherworldly heroes. To begin that journey today, we're going to be ranking some of the most popular Batman fan casts. So without further ado, let's get into it. This ranking is in no particular specific order. We simply have 5 tiers: S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and George Clooney. To start it off, let's go with Bill Skarsgard. Bill Skarsgard is one of the 4 Skarsgard brothers and the son of Stellan Skarsgard, known most notably for his role as Pennywise the Clown from the It series. Skarsgard has proven himself to be an immaculate actor. However, is that enough to be Batman? Batman should maintain a socialite charm as well as a rugged persona that helps him balance between Bruce Wayne and the Caped Crusader. While Bill Skarsgard does have a certain darkness to him, I think he would be better off as a Batman villain than as the Dark Knight himself. For that reason, we will be putting him in C tier. Next up, we have Christopher Russell. Christopher Russell is a 43-year-old Canadian actor. He is most notably known for his roles in Star Trek Discovery, as well as many Christmas and family-themed movies, a la Hallmark. Aside from looks, there isn't really much to indicate that Christopher Russell would be a good Batman, and given his age, I doubt James Gunn would pick him. The DCU's Batman is someone who has been roaming the streets of Gotham for a few years, and now, at the beginning of his first film in the DCU, Batman the Brave and the Bold, he is taking on his son, Damian Wayne, as his protege, Robin. This tells us that Batman is at least 30 years old, with an upper range limit at 40. Any older than that becomes a hard part to cast. While that may fit the character presently, this is someone who's going to need to fill this role for the next 10 to 15 years. And who really wants to see an almost 60-year-old Batman trying to fight criminals on the streets of Gotham? That is, unless they adapt The Dark Knight Returns. For that reason, and for the reason that he hasn't done too much work that is very prominent, he will be placed in the George Clooney tier, reserved for actors who are very good looking, but don't necessarily have anything concrete that showed that they would be a great Batman. Next, we have Italian actor Giacomo Gianniotti. While Giacomo definitely has the look of a wealthy urban socialite and perhaps could fittingly play the role of Bruce Wayne, at 5'11", this becomes a difficult cast, given that David Corenswet, who plays Superman, is 6'4", as well as the heights of many other male leads in the DCU, Nathan Fillion, Aaron Pierre, and many more, being above at least 6'1", this would likely put him out of place and make Batman's stature look less intimidating. While Giacomo Gianniotti might have the looks, there once again just isn't enough to show that he would make a great Batman. For that reason, he'll also be joining Christopher Russell in the George Clooney tier. Moving on, we have the 6'3" younger brother of Chris Hemsworth, the star of Thor. We have Liam Hemsworth. Liam Hemsworth rose to fame in his role as Gale Hawthorne in the Hunger Games series. Since then, he has done many projects in which he is able to prove his acting ability. I think, given Liam Hemsworth's age, as well as his physical stature, being in his mid-30s and of 6'3" height, he would be a smart choice for James Gunn to have audition for the role of DCU Batman. He is most earnestly able to play a smart, handsome, debonair socialite as he would do as Bruce Wayne, but he also has a rugged, dark persona that would fit extremely well in the role of Batman. For that reason, I'll be putting Liam Hemsworth in A tier. Our next 3 are some of the most popular fan casts for this role on the internet. Starting off with Nate Mann. Nate Mann is a fresh, new, young face in Hollywood. At 28 years old, he most recently starred in Masters of the Air, a World War II dogfighting story streaming on Apple TV. Aside from that, Nate Mann really hasn't appeared in a lot of projects. Now, to be fair, he is still relatively young compared to his peers in this tier list. However, that doesn't give us much to go off of. Additionally, he's also 5'10". This does not help his endeavors to become the brooding Bruce Wayne. He's simply too short to compete with the likes of David Corenswet and Aaron Pierre, as well as the others I mentioned earlier, to have a physically demeaning stature that would intimidate his enemies and command the respect of his allies. I do think, however, just given the stills from Masters of the Air and what I've seen, he would make a phenomenal Howard Stark if they were ever to go down that role, or perhaps even a rebooted version of Tony Stark in the new MCU. That being said, I'll be placing Nate Mann in C tier, as I don't see this casting happening. Next up, we have probably the most popular fan cast on the internet, Brandon Sklenar. Brandon Sklenar is a 35-year-old actor from New Jersey who's broken into the big leagues with his work in It Ends With Us, 1923, and most recently, The Housemaid. Sklenar has been vigorously campaigning to play Bruce Wayne/Batman in the new DCU. At 6'2" with a muscular stature, he makes a great argument. He's played rugged roles in the past and is able to carry a rugged, rough, and tough persona. However, where Sklenar loses me is in his physical appearance. While he does have the rugged farm boy persona needed for 1923, I don't believe he has the wealthy, classy, socialite look necessary to play one of Gotham's elite, Bruce Wayne. For that reason, I'm afraid he's going to have to go into B tier. Next up, we have Oliver Jackson Cohen. Oliver Jackson is a 6'3" English actor. At 39 years old, he just meets our upper predefined range for DCU Batman. Cohen does an incredible job at maintaining a dark, moody, broody character in a lot of his work. However, is that enough to be cast as Batman? Well, he certainly meets the physical stature for the role and can carry a wealthy, socialite, debonair flair. And if DC were to put him in the gym, I'm confident he could build up the muscular stature needed to play an intimidating Batman. For those reasons, I will be putting him in A tier, just under Liam Hemsworth, who has already maintained a great physical, muscular stature for a lot of his career and proven that he knows his way around stunts and much more. Moving on to Paul Kelly. Paul Kelly is an American model, recently turned actor, who has begun his acting career in a JFK Jr. biopic series. In that series, as you can imagine, Paul Kelly will be playing JFK Jr., and I think that's an incredibly important thing to note. I believe JFK Jr. forms the perfect archetype of who Bruce Wayne is and should be. A misfit socialite who is able to balance himself effortlessly in the world of the elite as well as in the world of the common man, being able to interact with and maintain a camaraderie with people from both of these worlds. If Paul Kelly is able to nail this role, then he will most certainly be an S-tier pick, as he has the height, physical appearance, and then the acting ability to carry the role of Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. But since we haven't seen a performance from him yet, and we only have his physical appearance to go off of, I will be placing him in B tier, just under Brandon Sklenar. Next up, we have Pierson Fode. To be honest, the only role I really know Pierson Fode from is as Mrs. Chesterfield's son from the show Jessie. That's not to dig at Pierson Fode, however, I think he just falls into the category of good-looking guy who people think could play a good-looking guy in a movie. For that reason, I'll be placing him in the category known as George Clooney. While I do think Pierson Fode has a great career ahead of him, I just don't know if Bruce Wayne/Batman is the part for him. I could definitely see him playing a character such as Booster Gold or Captain Atom. However, I don't know if he has what it takes to be the Batman. Moving on to our final three, we have Richard Madden. Many of you may know Richard Madden as Icarus from the Marvel film The Eternals. I think Richard Madden was the standout in that film. His acting was brilliant, and he was able to confidently convey the balanced, confident nature of Icarus as well as his darker side. Traits that I deem incredibly important for Batman. However, at 39 years old and 5'10", I simply don't see this being an adequate fit in a DCU where Superman is 30 and almost 6'5". For those reasons, I'm afraid I'm going to have to put Richard Madden in C tier. Next, we have Scott Eastwood. If you're looking for a guy to play the wealthy heir of a classic American family, then look no further. Scott Eastwood easily fits that category. He has an all-American charm to him, as well as great acting ability. However, at 5'11" and 39 years old, I just don't know if he's the man for the part. He is, again, significantly older and shorter than his compatriots in the DCU. Now, given his acting, he may well be able to carry the strong, confident, intimidating persona that Batman commands. However, I just don't see him being cast. For that reason, I'm going to place him in C tier. Finally, we have Tom Brittney. Tom Brittney is an up-and-coming English actor who is best known for his role in Grantchester, a British ITV detective drama set in the 1950s. In that show, he plays Reverend Will Davenport, the new lead of the show, where he confidently carries the show with his great acting ability. Notably to you and I, Brittney previously auditioned and was in the top 3 to play James Gunn's Superman. While he didn't get the part, James Gunn has repeatedly said that Tom Brittney is a phenomenal talent and one of his favorite actors in the industry. Given that, as well as his 6'2" height, his age of 35, which puts him only slightly older than the DCU Superman, I could see this being a really solid pick. He has the acting chops, the physical appearance, and the perfect age to be the DCU Batman and carry that franchise for at least the next decade to come. For those reasons, I will be placing Tom Brittney in S tier. I think this casting is incredibly likely to happen, and if it does, it would be brilliant. Having two, at their core, phenomenal actors would really set the tone for the DCU and help further the reputation of these iconic characters. Let me know what you guys think. I'll link this tier maker in the description below. As always, stay hyped, stay happy, see you in the next one.